Hi folks, welcome to the Candidates Forum. I'm Dave Gauss, your host again, and we are here for the last time before the election with Carol Cooper, who's running for School Board District 5. And Carol, it's been an absolute pleasure all this time, and I'm going to miss not interviewing you.
I am going to miss it too. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, Tuesday is Election Day, November 5th. So folks, it's very important that you get out to vote. November 5th is the last day, that's the voting day for elections. So please, it's so important to get out and vote. You can make a choice who is actually, in this case, taking care of your schools and your children. So, Carol, we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's start out and kind of go over what we have been. The one thing that seemed to be very important to me is transparency. And I know it's a matter of you want to be transparent because you want people to know what's going on, but you don't want them to be too fearful about coming up with ideas. So,
yes, transparency has more to do than just preventing information from being hidden.
Right.
It also, transparency allows us to see all sides of an issue. So when we want to be transparent, we certainly want input from the constituency.
So you want information from all parties.
All parties.
I mean, grandparents.
Anyone who has a perspective is valuable. Sure. And that perspective is valuable. And as you started to say, I think that parents have a perspective, and grandparents, and sure. Any of us who are connected with a child has a perspective that is valuable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. You know, it seems like the most important thing about education is to put the students first. I don't always see that. And I've heard of scandals in the past and things like that. I've heard of way too big the administration. It seems like we need to really bring it back to the students themselves. So I know you have some perspectives on that.
In all we do, the ability for students to learn better is what we're trying to affect. We want learning to be effective. Okay. That their learning ability, they are developing learning abilities and taking information from learning opportunities that we hope will benefit them all the rest of their lives.
Sure.
So this is a critical time for them, and the thing I think that has been most lacking and is a long-lasting problem when it exists, and that is that parents have come to feel perhaps that they are not important, that possibly they need to stand out of the way let the professionals do it. Or perhaps they don't have a lot of time. They're involved with their work. Their days are long and not much energy left, perhaps, for children. But parents convey information that other people do not. If a parent values education, their children will value education. Mm. Parents are a powerful influence on their children. And we've talked about a number of things that are wrong with the system or wrong with public education, but those things can easily be fixed with time and money. But nobody can perform the role of parents. Mm. Only parents can be parents, and they help set the stage for their lives. All of these. We're kind of comparing our relationships in our school system with a stage. Everybody's got a role. Mm. We've got something to do. and parents are peculiar. I'm not going to say this word correctly. Peculiarly.
Back to school, Carol.
Back to school. Well, learn to speak that would be for starters.
That's a tough one.
But anyway, we have particular abilities that nobody else has, as does the teacher and the school principal. We all have our roles, but we must not let go of the role that parents have performed in the past, and it's missed, but it's been missed in a very quiet. Parents have moved away from interaction with their children. It's happened very quietly, but the results, the consequences of that are very, very severe. Children are not connected, and it not only shows up in their education, but it shows up in, if the connection's not there, it shows up in their ability to get along with other people and to motivate themselves to try things they've never tried before. It shows up in a lot of different ways. It manifests itself, the lack of parental connection. So it's vital that it be restored. We must, and I think that from our positions as school board members, we can influence, give confidence to parents that, one, they are fully capable of being parents, and they are very needed, and they are very welcome in the school setting. We can influence that, and something that I intend to do if you elect me, and maybe even if you don't. I think this is so important, but I'm going to be talking with people. You know, when it comes down to it, we could have a change that, as it's going on, is very quiet. Grandpa's in an audience that I may address, and I ask him to please pay attention to the student and the parents in your life, and if those parents aren't seeming to be connected to their children, see how you can influence and bring about a reconnection between the parent and the child.
Boy.
Or if a child doesn't have a parent to connect with, find a way to connect and give that child a connection with another human being. That's very quiet. It's going to happen quietly. But the consequences of a child feeling more confident about learning new things, that he is a valuable person, somebody else treasures him or her, those are they quietly hurt, or they quietly bring life to a person. So anyway, that is an effort that I personally intend to pursue with the blessing of the voters.
Well, you're talking about a revolution. You're talking about grandparents engaging parents, engaging students with the administration support, with teacher support. Holy smoke, this is amazing. Now, so you're going to be supporting the parents' involvement with the students, and the students are always number one.
Always.
You also, as the school board, you have a very important role because you pick the superintendent. So this is a very, very important role that you will be picking.
And we've that is one of our roles, and I guarantee you that a superintendent is going to be scrutinized, having to do with how important he thinks parents are to children.
Sure.
And how, where resources go. If resources are being used too much for administration and it's not getting to the classroom, we want the best teachers. We want as many teachers as we need to get the job done. We want excellent equipment and excellent materials. We want the very best for our students, and then we want to expect that students are excited about learning, and an awful lot of that comes from parents. If parents are excited about their students learning, those students they really, really do want to please mother and dad. And so we want to give all the support we can to the whole picture.
Wow. And now, you've had a successful accounting business for quite a few years, so you know what it's like to have limited resources when you have set goals and how you have to balance that.
Certainly. We deal with businesses.
Right.
Who, they want to increase their resources, right?
Right.
I mean, there is not any point in doing a business if you don't make the business grow.
If you're stagnant, you fail.
That's right.
Right. So you have to improve.
You have to improve, and so you have to be very judicious about how you use your resources. And the school system has limited resources, so we have to be very careful about how they are spent and put them to where they are going to affect learning in the very best way.
I hear you. Well, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back, and I'd like to talk more about the limited resources, and I'd also like to talk about federal government involvement in our school system.
Okay.
So, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Carol Cooper, who's running for School Board District 5. We'll see you in a minute.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Carol Lynn Cooper, candidate for School Board District 5. The sole agenda of the school board should be to provide an excellent education for our students. That will be my only agenda as your school board member. I'd appreciate your vote for School Board District 5. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to the Candidates Forum. We're here again with Carol Cooper. This is our last show, folks. Carol Cooper is running for School Board District 5, a good pick. Going to be my pick for School Board District 5. We've been talking about a lot of subjects, but remember, November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th is going to be Election Day. Make sure you get out and vote. You might not even be in the city, but you're going to vote for other issues, soil and water, school board district. Very, very important that you vote. Municipal elections are very important. They say all politics is local, and it certainly is true here in Las Cruces. So Carol, before we took the break, we were touching on the subject of the federal government being involved in our local school system. I think it's a big mistake. What do you think?
Well, I think that it has evolved. We have people have come to expect problems to be solved by money. There's an attitude that they say money talks. Well, it definitely does, but money doesn't solve everything.
Money influences.
Money influences, yes, but money is not the answer always.
Okay.
And I do think that we have gotten very the budget. I have not seen the budget, but it's a lot, and so to be fiscally responsible, you've got to understand it.
Well, you being an accountant would know how you have to be fiscally responsible.
Right. But the deal is that with federal funds, you have some. Most often, there is some agenda tied to it, and somebody has something that they want to see accomplished, and so you. So the administration says, well, we can accomplish that goal, and so we can apply for this money.
That's dangerous.
And it hasn't always been a positive effect. And I think there is a principle that we need to consider. We should have considered it a long time ago, but we don't seem to have noticed that the founding fathers of our country did not include education in the Constitution, in the enumeration of powers that the Congress has. Education is not mentioned. The only thing that the federal government did at the time the country was founded was to grant to each state, each one of the states that signed a compact with the federal government to be a state, 2 sections per township was given to each state for the purpose of schools.
Generating funds, I guess?
Yes. That land was given. Whatever they did with it, the money, the proceeds of whatever they did with the land was to be used for education.
I never knew that.
And so education was clearly important in their minds.
Well, our founding fathers were highly educated men, spoke numerous languages. They knew the value of education.
They did. And the average person was well educated. Alex de Tocqueville talked about, he was just amazed that people you could walk up to somebody on the street and a citizen would know what's in the Constitution. Today we're lucky if 2% of our congressmen know what's in the Constitution, and much less abide by it. But education was seen; it was relegated to the states and to the people,
right?
To name and decide what the educational goals for that area would be.
Well, how could bureaucrats or elected officials in another state, thousands of miles away, know what's important to the local citizens, their children and their families? It doesn't make sense. You have to keep it local.
And remember, values at the time the Constitution was signed, the religious values all of those people, those just among those men who signed the Constitution, they had various thoughts about God and how the world's put together. So they knew that needed to be personal, and that education needed to reflect the values of the people.
So it's going to vary with
different... Took a long
different...
time to say that.
No,
Sorry about that.
No, I get your point. It's different people have different values, have different ideologies, have different religious beliefs. So you really want to keep that local.
And they wanted the people to have liberty in expressing and living their beliefs.
Sure.
So I mean, that to them, that freedom, that liberty was huge, and education is a huge part of exercising the liberty we have. We have to know what it is we believe and what the ramifications are, and we've got to have ways to think about that. And so it was important for us to have education, but decided at the goals decided at the local level,
Sure.
and we should want that for ourselves. We've allowed it to go out of our hands. And a lot has the federal government has had a lot to do with that. You know, we're going for people to be the same. We are equal in our rights, but we're not equal in our abilities, and it's our inequality that makes us strong. We take up the slack that when it's necessary, and sometimes we're the ones that give slack. So anyway,
it seems like it's just like you're saying about parental involvement. The parents think that the school system knows better than they do. Not necessarily so.
Not necessarily so.
But then some people believe that the federal government is more knowledgeable about how to run a school system or a community, and they don't. So it's all about keeping things local like that.
And keeping it relatively small, too, for that matter. I mean, it's so easy to take advantage of the big numbers. I mean, it's many times it's hard for people to get their heads around. You know, when you're talking about millions of dollars, it's hard to keep in perspective what's important and what is not important.
And throwing money at a problem doesn't fix it necessarily.
Not
it's
necessarily.
Limited resources, a specific goal that you want to reach, and how to find that balance.
We want to use our resources the best way possible.
Some kids have different skill levels too. So it's not just cookie cutter. You can't say every child must do this. Not every child should go to college. So I hope you're going to identify specific students with specific skills and abilities that are different from other students.
Well, and hopefully, if a student is fully engaged in his own education, and his parents are watching and a part of that, his or her talents and particular abilities, they will be observed. And in the learning process, we see the different ways that we can apply our particular.
And our teachers, I guess, would be the best observers to identify those specific skills and what opportunities are beyond school or along with schooling, like apprenticeships or things like that could really help a student move in the direction that they want to move in.
Sure.
So, boy, I can't wait for you to get on the school board and help out.
Well, I hope that's exactly what would happen. I hope that I'll have the opportunity to do that.
And
of course, that's up to the voters.
And I understand that you folks aren't getting paid at all. This is all, you're working from the heart. You're working to try and help our students. That is so honorable. I'm amazed that you're willing to devote the energy and the time to help our students, and I appreciate that.
There, you know, I hope I quote this correctly, but there is nothing like, well, what I started to say, there's nothing more tragic than the loss of a good mind.
No.
And we see so much today where children with all children have a lot of promise. All children.
Sure.
And we see it, you know, we see it come out when a child has a severe learning disability, and God made every single child to be wonderful.
Yeah, very special.
And very special, with a great deal to contribute. So we don't want any child to suffer thinking that he is not important, and that he is loved and needed.
Carol, I wish we had another hour we could go on with this, but we don't. We're running to the end of the show. But if folks want to see your past shows, they go to your Facebook. You can see Carol's past performances on the screen, at whatever it is on the screen. So, Carol Cooper, School Board District 5, make sure you get out and vote. November 5th, Carol's the lady. She's going to help your kids, my kids, all our kids in our community. So, Carol, it's been a pleasure. Good luck in the election.
Thank you.
And November 5th, make sure you vote, folks. Take care. I'll see you again later.
I am Carol Lynn Cooper, and I approve this message.